The Washington Examiner reporting that the Black Lives Matter organization is halting online fundraising after facing scrutiny for missing financial records. The California Department of Justice threatening to hold the foundation's leaders personally liable if they fail to disclose details of the $60 million in donations that it received in the next 2 months. Here now is Andrew Kerr, Washington Examiner investigative reporter. Incredible work, Andrew. What do you know right now about these developments?
Right. So Black Lives Matter is a public charity. That means that they have an obligation to disclose basic information about their finances to the public, information about their leadership, and information about where they actually reside. And Black Lives Matter has provided none of that information. Information on their 2020 finances, a year in which they closed out with $60 million in their bank accounts, is months late. We tried to go to their Los Angeles address. My colleague did last week and was told by a security guard that Black Lives Matter has never had an office here, and we constantly get packages that we have to for Black Lives Matter that we have to return back to sender. And their board members won't disclose who has been in charge of the charity for the past 8 months. When its former co-founder, or when its co-founder Patrisse Cullors left the organization last May amid scrutiny over her own personal real estate purchases, she appointed 2 co-executive directors to lead the organization. But they quietly announced in September that we're not taking the job because we can't come to an agreement with Black Lives Matter. So amid all of this, the state of Washington and California have recently notified Black Lives Matter that, hey, if you guys want to operate in our state, then you need to submit your financial information. Until you do so, you are not to solicit any contributions from citizens of our state. Washington warned Black Lives Matter in a letter a few weeks ago that you could face fines upward to $2,000 per violation. And California said that we will hold the leaders and everybody that's in charge of solicitation at Black Lives Matter personally accountable if you don't submit your records within 60 days. So yesterday, Black Lives Matter took the extraordinary step, and they announced that we're going to pause all online fundraising as we get our registration issues sorted out. But this is some breaking news from just before I came on air. It turns out that Black Lives Matter is still accepting donations from their Act Blue donation pages. They told me just before we came on the air that these are not active fundraising pages. These are former fundraising pages, which doesn't really make sense because I was able to pitch $1 to Black Lives Matter, proving that they're still actively accepting contributions despite their statement yesterday that they are no longer going to be soliciting funds online. This is a developing story. Black Lives Matter is they have registration issues in about 9 states, and if they don't submit their information, then they're soon going to be out of compliance in more.
And there's states, as you've reported, that kind of dot the country, from Maine to North Carolina and Virginia, New Jersey, New Mexico, and Maryland and Connecticut. There's so many questions I have for you, Andrew, but what about the companies? You would think that the companies that donated money to the Black Lives Matter organization, here are just some of them: Airbnb, beauty brand Glossier, Spanx, Tom's Shoes, Lululemon. Why aren't those company executives standing up and publicly saying, where's the accounting of this money?
Right. They made a big scene in 2020 after the George Floyd killing that we're going to, donating 6-figure, 7-figure donations to Black Lives Matter. What I think is more concerning is that there were a large number of people, probably millions of people, that donated to this charity with good intentions. Just like regular folks that did not like the scenes that they were seeing on television. And Black Lives Matter has a duty to those people that gave them their hard-earned money, what they've done with their money. It's been 2 years. Their reporting was due months ago, and it's been radio silence from what is perhaps the most influential social justice charity in the country.
What about additional investigations? Do you think that there will be an even deeper dive, a bigger dive from attorneys general in other states?
Well, I spoke to the Attorney General of Indiana the other day, and while he wouldn't confirm or deny whether there was an investigation that he was partaking in regards to Black Lives Matter, he said that the facts that we've been reporting at the Washington Examiner are very concerning, and he said that these are essentially the patterns that we see with organizations that turn out to be frauds or scams. No information about their finances, refusal to answer basic questions about their leadership, offices that don't exist. All of these are not good signs. And what the Indiana Attorney General told me was that these are some concerning facts. So BLM has had plenty of opportunity to provide their documents. All they need to do is provide the documents that they're required to disclose upon request that were due back in November. And until they do that, I think that they're going to face just more and more scrutiny from more and more states across the country.
Andrew Kerr, please come back. Terrific reporting. Thank you so much. Andrew Kerr of the Washington Examiner. I encourage everybody to go read his investigative work.